halfway up.
So what was this one?
Well, that's a 17 townhouse project. That's what it looked like at the end. Close to the Griffith University. 93 a townhouse, you know, a year and a half's work per townhouse, if you like, times 17. Just bread and butter stuff, never win an architectural award. If you took those little flyover roofs off the balconies, it looked like an army barracks. But a lot of the stuff I do, you'd never win an
architectural. It's profitable, who cares? As far as I'm concerned.
Look, I never want one of my projects to win an architectural award.
Yeah.
It's the last thing I'd want. Because it would have cost too much.
Yes.
Don't want it. Boring's great. Here's the...
I'm with you.
I've got some ugly stuff.
I'm with you. Oh, not that bad. You don't want it ugly because you're still going to be able to sell it. Somebody's got to love it.
I'll show you ugly. Want to see ugly?
Have I got it here?
Oh, you've probably got ugly here. Oh, speaking of ugly. That is ugly.
Why did you build that?
Well, I'll show you. That's why. So that was picked up with a development approval.
Did you have to put the strips in there? What did you do that for?
Oh, I don't know. Look, I got it. Look, I was picked up with a development approval, part of a building approval. That had been on the market for 3 years, that property. I'd watched it come down from 1.3 million, ended up getting it for 969. It took years to come down. Everyone had forgotten about it and given up on it. And I had every 6 months I'd look at it. It had a development approval and it had the architect's drawings for the building approval. I just didn't want to go backwards and redo it.
Fair enough.
I'd say, look, it's boring. It's you know, it's nothing.
Ugly.
But I knew what the profit would be. The numbers. All that matters is the numbers.
I agree. It's to a point. What's this you got? This is a newer one.
That's
obviously.
a nice little shot. That's some townhouses out near the airport. 85. You know, it's okay. 10 of them. Nothing exceptional. Just 2-story, 3-bedroom.
It's all in the multis, the multiplications of the profit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. These weren't good.
These 400's no good?
Least profit I've done. Look, I normally... I bought them off a guy that had the DA on it, and it's not a good DA. I wouldn't do those normally. But
400's not enough for you?
Well, I felt sorry for him. And
you felt sorry for him, so you said, all right, I'll make the 400 on it.
He was a client of a friend. So, I mean, this deal was off market. I got a friend who's got quite a sizable property management business.
Oh, yeah.
Every one of his clients is what?
Is what?
A property manager, every one of his clients is a what? An investor. That's a good database. Anyway, he had a client, got a DA, crappy DA, wrong site, wrong DA, and he said he's hurting. He hasn't got the money to develop it. Can you come and talk to him? And I did. And eventually I helped him out and I bought it off him. I didn't like it. The reason I didn't like it, they're 3 stories at the front, those townhouses, which is okay, but they're only 2-bedders. I mean, I normally don't do 2-bedders, and I will do 3 stories sometimes, but a 3-story 2-bedder, oh, geez, no. It costs more to build a 3-story and you don't get the money back on the 2-bedder. Scrape by, had to redesign some of the stuff to there's some heavy engineering. It's cantilevered.
So how did he make his mistake? Did he pick the wrong designer? Did he pick the wrong architect?
He put 5 on it. Yeah, wrong architect. He put 5 on a foresight.
Okay. So what size square meterage was that?
Well, like it's high 600s. He squeezed on. He could do 3 stories because there's apartments both sides, although the rules have since changed. Look, to do 3 stories costs you more than a 2. To do 2-bedders, I don't do them. Everything's wrong the way I do it. What happened? He didn't know what he was doing. He's just an investor. He went to the architect, and the architect said, "Do you want me to maximise the site?" He said, "Yeah," because he mistook. And hey, this is a key. I don't know if my mate, the architect, said it yesterday. There's a difference between maximising the site in terms of town planning and architecture and maximising your profit. As a developer, there's only one thing that matters, maximising your profit. They're not always the same. They can be, but they're not always. This guy maximised the site. He squeezed the most on it that he could. Profit-wise, he could have done better doing less. And sometimes it's like that. And that's an example. That said, I mean, it's still okay.
Still made money on it.
Yeah.
This one here, another building site?
Yeah, it's a bit over half finished. 22 townhouses. Basic profit again. I'll tell you something about all these projects. I haven't been telling you as you went through. Pretty much all of them, I don't have any money in them. They're all different strategies that I use. There's a little splitter. Well, that's just showing you a little splitter. You know, crack a block in half. Look, splitters, you know, look, you've got to look at a few to make a profit. You've got to be careful, got to really do your numbers. Some of them, the owner wants to make the profit already before they buy them.
There's more people in this market than there is at the market, the other market we've been looking at.
So your margin's going to be lower, but you're going to be in and out of it quicker. It's less risk, it's small. You've got to look at them. Some people that own a block of land that they know can be cut in half, they work out what's the 2 blocks of land worth after it's cut in half and try and sell it to you for that. Well, there's no profit. They don't understand you've got to leave enough for the next guy. That's all right. Keep moving on. If you look around, you look at some deals, you will get them. That's a 5-storey building. It's ground level parking plus 4. Now, the funny thing about this, all those projects I showed you earlier, as I said, I haven't got much money in there. A combination of different strategies that I use, and I don't mind sharing profit. You know, if I'm not putting money in. Some of those are syndicates, some of those are joint ventures with landowners, some of those are capital raisings, all different strategies. Some of them have got a couple of strategies mixed into the one deal. This one here, it's just a normal project. We picked it up with a DA off a site flicker, I know, so that's a person that just does nothing but get development approvals and sells them, never develops anything, just gets the approvals and sells them. I know him, sometimes he rings me up and he's got one. This is a project we've put together with some mentoring students. We've formed a joint venture. The funny thing about this is it had an approval. Because it had an approval and we bought it, we got it valued. So our good friends at Heron Todd White put a value of about 1.63 or something on it. Just down the road, a site came up, about a kilometre and a bit down the road, exact same zoning, exact same size, which says to me I can do the exact same DA. I can just copy that building and go and plop it down the road. But
Is that it?
Well, that's what it looks like. There's 3 properties there and then a street. You can only... What happened, the first 2 came up. There's the one in the middle you can see and there's one behind a tree. It came up for sale on realestate.com. Be surprised what I'll find on that. But if you know what you're doing and you've got an alert going and you can make a quick decision, if I understand the market, you can jump on it. If you think I've got some secret way of listing, I don't. So it popped up. Because I knew what you could do with it from the other one, because I knew what the other one would be worth when I got a DA, head start, jumped on it, put it under conditional contract subject to further due diligence and finance. And so I'll just replicate it. 14 apartments up the road, bingo, I can put it on. Now, the reason it turned from 14 into that, the agent went and approached the people next door, same size block of land with that white building on, and said, yeah, we'd sell it, basically the same price. So I know it's for sale at $1.05 million. I know when I get the DA on it, it's 1.6 odd, it's 1.63. I know there's a good markup in the development approval by getting the DA. So when he approached the guy next door, I thought, and he'd sell it, I thought, oh, good. Now I've got 2 properties. Now I can do the Twin Towers. So I get 14 and 14. Now, good markup on the DA each time, you know. It's something like 450, 450. There's a $900,000 markup on both of those sites. But hey, what about combining the 2 together and now doing something else? So instead of doing 14 and 14 is 28, 37.
37 by combining.
So now I've got another 9 apartments for absolutely no extra cost. So the land content's somewhere roughly around 100 or whatever. So there's another 900 and then the other 900. All of a sudden, I got about $1.8 million of what we call free equity built into the deal by, first of all, getting the DA and secondly, combining 2 lots into one. So that 1.8 million equity is a big head start on what we've got to put in to do it. So the bank says, you put in some money, we'll put in most of it. Well, that chunk of money that has to go in, I've got a $1.8 million bill in already up front as a kickstart. So not wanting to be someone who puts money in at all, well, I will. I approached an investor that I know, a fairly substantial one. I said, look, you come in as a money partner. We've already kick-started it, built in a lot of free equity. So you come in as the money partner, tip in any extra money that's required, and we'll carve the profits up. And so
there's
that's
plenty in the deal.
Yeah, so that's a 38 apartment building that obviously myself and a couple of my people in the office are in, doing very well, haven't got any money in. It's a big project.
Not finished yet.
Oh, it's in for DA, that's the sign.
Yeah. So Bob the deal maker, who are we really? You call yourself the laziest developer in Australia. You actually won the award for it, yeah?
Well, our mutual friend John Gian christened me that, and the name stuck.
did all the wrong things, to be honest. And when I first went to my first one-day event, it was really quite funny because I was sitting in the crowd and everything she was saying not to do, I pretty much had done. There are strategies out there that you can do to be in control of your profit and not have to wait for the market to grow and you're waiting and you're sort of sitting and you're praying, you know, and that was what it used to be like. But now it's very quantifiable, and you know before you're going into a deal, degree of certainty that property is going to be profitable. And when I first went to the first one-day event, I was in negative equity and also negative cash flow. So it was probably around about a third of my income that I was in negative cash flow. It took me about 2 years, you know, after all the learning and applied all the knowledge and you know, plugged into all the webinars. I was able to turn that around, and now I've placed pretty much half of my income and in that time and into positive equity territory now as well, so which has enabled me to continue to invest. It was a decision that I think was the best decision I've ever made, the investment in the education, because that's now allowed me to be able to move forward with my portfolio and my lifestyle and my cash flow.
I got a lot from it. It was good timing this time round. We've walked away with a lot of opportunities to think about, a lot of different strategies, so much stuff to go over to decide what is the best move to make as our next move. Yeah, my head is swimming, but it's a good feeling.
Basically retired, except that we still do a lot of renovations, so we don't really have to go to work anymore, which is good.
Steve had been exploring, looking for another project for us to work on in the same region, and came across a nice little block of 20 acres. And we explored the potential. It had a previous DA approved on it for 80 odd lots, and the council was very keen to renew that DA with some minor modifications. So with a lot of confidence to proceed, after sussing out with council, we went ahead, had another couple of partners come on board, and there's now 4 of us pretty much managing the deal.